This is a school in Australia, and I was interested to talk to one of our business contacts about this, which we didn't end up doing, um, because there are within a business, if your business can be associated to, for example, a religion or even let's just say an ideology, it seems that you're able to do some horrific discriminatory things and the law allows you to do it. You know, I won't even say horrific discriminatory things. I'll say discriminatory. I mean, a classic example is you don't get a female Catholic priest because within the religion, they're male, right? And that's overtly discriminatory. But because of their religious beliefs, it's not discriminatory in the law. They allow it to happen. I'm just trying to think hard as I'm talking about this, Chewy, about one of these religions, one of these examples that may not be religious. They always seem to be because of religious groups and organizations. So here's a story of News Talk ZB. Obviously, it's an international story, but that's where we found it. Teachers at a controversial Christian school in Brisbane are being asked to sign employment contracts that warn they could be sacked for being openly homosexual. Openly. The City Point Christian College at the heart of yet another scandal after a former teacher lost his job for refusing to sign the document last month. Now, I read further down where this teacher actually talked about why they were, it's quite a long article, why they said that they weren't going to sign it. But basically, here it is here. I think this is the guy. Actually, a guy or girl, not sure. A former City Point teacher who refused to sign the contract told The Guardian that he effectively lost his job due to discrimination. I'm disgusted by this kind of intolerance and discrimination hiding behind the name of God, especially when formalized in a contract. This is not Christianity. Excluding LGBTQIA plus people from the school community perpetuates these archaic values and doesn't prepare students for the real world. In the real world, I love this line so much. In the real world, if you don't share values with a colleague or a friend, you can't contract them out of your life. He's got it. I mean, I don't know what his beliefs are. I don't know whether he's a part of the LGBT community or not, but this guy's got it. Guy or girl's got it. You know, he's like, you can't just literally hide yourself or others in the metaphorical closet to try and protect an ideology that stops once the kids get to the front gate of your property. There's more I want to read, but jump in, Joey.
I mean, it doesn't sound like he should be working at that school anyway.
But isn't that sad? He might be the perfect one to be with these kids. That's the problem.
I mean, part of me wants to go, yeah, cool, dude. You dodged a bullet. Get the hell out of there. That sounds like a nightmare school for bastard people. And then the other half of me is like, if there's a kid at that school that's trying to work out who they are, they're in danger at that school. That's frightening. And this teacher could be someone that was, you know, an ally or someone that is really important to that kid's continued life on Earth. Yeah. Yikes.
The story explains what the contract is, and this is from the contract, right? I'll read it out to you. We believe, this is what the school is saying, we believe that any form of sexual immorality, and then they put in brackets, including but not limited to adultery, fornication, homosexual acts, bisexual acts, bestiality, incest, pedophilia, and pornography, is sinful and offensive to God and is destructive to human relationship and society. The college believes that by creating each person, God is divine in his divine love and wisdom, gifted them their gender as male or female. Of course, little addendum there, gender, male or female, is their sex. So they don't even understand what they're talking about because it's not their male and female is not gender, it's sex. The college therefore acknowledges the biological sex of a person recognized at birth and requires practices consistent with that sex. Now, that intrigues me. So if the school requires practices consistent with being a male, what do they mean? You must play rugby. You must play with trucks. Girls, females, you must play because they require practices consistent with that sex. Now, what I wanted to bring up, and this is the hypocrisy of these kinds of horse shit locations,
yeah,
is this one here. because most of know, if not all of know, I certainly have a lot of religion in my background, so I understand quite a bit about it. In that big old dusty book that they're referencing, right? It also, why is masturbation not listed there? I mean, most of these people are a bunch of wankers. I would think that would absolutely be in there. But you see, that might be something that some of the people writing these things may have participated in occasionally. What's that old saying? 95% of people masturbate and the other 5% are liars, something like that.
It's
That's
an
not
excellent
listed.
way to pass the time while you're waiting for public transport. That's all I'm going to say on that.
And hang on, let me give you one more thing, right? Because what they're talking about is what they refer to as sin. The Bible is clear, if you believe it, that everyone is a sinner and everyone sins. And actually, it says very clearly, if you look at people with lust in your eyes, you have committed adultery. Why is that not listed? So what they're doing is they're firing people who won't acknowledge that they won't be gay. What about the people who look at people in lustful? That's the same. According to their book, it's the same. But that, of course, they may do that. The people writing this contract may do that. So I can't be involved in that. But because you're the other, I'm going to get rid of you.
Why is it always these types of Christians that are like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this? God created you perfectly. Cool. Well, if he's done that and that's how the person's turned out, what are you saying? You don't speak for God.
Well, they said they do.
It's at the end. Well, be wary of anybody that says that they speak for God. At the end of the day, if you take all of this out, what matters is at the end of the road, if they're right, God's going to go, well, you're a bad person, you're a good person. Just leave it at that. Let kids be kids. Let people do what they want to do as long as they're not hurting anybody else. That's all that matters. I know good Christians who just stay in their own lane, and that's their own way to live their life, and that's absolutely fine. And then there's these types of Christians that are like, I am this better class of person. I am right, and everybody else is doomed to going to hell. That's frightening.